Issue Boy and Good in the house, back with another bang on video. Arsenal versus Manchester City, dropping all 3 points. It was a 1-0 loss for Arsenal, but what are your thoughts on that? Well, let me know in the comment section. But more importantly, we're going to talk about Arsenal's centre-back problem. Why did David Luiz play when Rob Holding was announced? And everything will be discussed in this video. Also, we're going to talk about Lucas Torreira's debut, much-awaited debut against Celta Vigo away in La Liga, which resulted in a 1-0 victory for Atletico Madrid. Of course, we're going to talk about that, and of course, we're going to talk about what Mikel Arteta said after the game, and Arsenal's need to either buy or use a centre-back that they have not used till now. Everything will be discussed in this video, and if you consider daily Arsenal content in your YouTube feed, this is the best place to be, and consider subscribing and hitting that bell icon. Shall we move on to the first news? Well, Lucas Torreira, you cannot see him in this image. Let me just expand it. Yes, now you can see alongside Koke, you can see Lucas Torreira, the Atletico Madrid number 5, had a debut against Celta Vigo away for Atletico Madrid. Yes, it was David Malbach has actually given his insight about how exactly Lucas Torreira performed against Celta. He says Koke Torreira is a combination that can work very well. The former Arsenal player takes a lot of responsibility from him by sweeping loose balls and is much more fixed in that position as a pivot than others who have played there. Be careful, it is still too early to know if it works or not. And also, he actually made his debut as they faced Celta Vigo away in La Liga and they won 1-0. They are really far off the top of the table, but yes, Real Madrid and Barcelona dropped 3 points yesterday playing in their pink kits. Yeah, that's a thing. Yeah, that's a thing in 2020. But moving on, well, yes, this was the moment that we were waiting. Well, yes, all the Gunners are waiting. Thomas Partey actually come in. Well, we wanted him to start for Arsenal. However, it was too early. Maybe it was early days to see Thomas Partey start for Arsenal. That's okay. I think we can understand that fact. But the reality is that more than start, I think this was the bigger concern, wasn't it? Well, Hector Bellerin made his 150th Premier League start. He is the only survivor in Arsenal's lineup from their last Premier League win versus Manchester City in December 2015. Willian has been on the winning side 4 times in the Premier League versus Manchester City since Guardiola took charge. No player has more Premier League wins versus City in that time in this particular lineup of Arsenal. However, nothing changed. We lost. But moving on, Arsenal's away record versus the Big Six since January 2015, 29 games, 0 wins, 10 draws, 19 defeats, conceded 65 goals. That is what was. And most importantly, let's talk about David Luiz. He actually came in for Holding, who has hurt his hamstring in the warm-up. Yes, he was straight into the part of the... let's see how things will turn out, because for me, it's pretty much clear. You need a guy like Hosam Aouar playing in that, Arteta, it's like forcing him to play a 3-4-3. You have to play 4-3-3, but lots of issues. But let's talk about the man who was completely absent into the pockets of Ruben Dias and Kyle Walker. Well, only West Brom have had fewer shots, 27, than Arsenal, 30 in the Premier League this season. After just 4 matches, that's already 45 fewer than Liverpool. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang has had half as many shots as Thomas Soucek. Yeah. Yes, everyone is not happy about it. But moving on, Mikel Arteta has opened up about his performance against Manchester City. He says, the team's performance, he says, I am upset because I think we deserve more from the game. I am extremely happy about the performance we put in against a top team. To come here and play with the attitude and to have the courage to play the way we played, to make it as difficult as we made it, I have to say I cannot demand much more from the players. Apart from to say that when you have 3 big chances in this game, you have to score. I have to say I cannot demand much more from the players. The 3 of them were very good chances. The situation we have after this Kyle Walker incident, he said, the situation we have after the corner with Kyle Walker, that has to be checked, but they said they checked. And I asked, how the hell did you check if it only took 2 seconds to check the action? There is something there. I think that's what happened. It wasn't reviewed. And Charles Watts asked him if he was happy how it worked. He says, yes, on some moments better than others, but I think that he will grow and understand better that position as we use him on other occasions, maybe surrounded by different players as well. But I'm happy with the game. He had it's all about Willian and he be used as a false nine. He says, I believe it was a game for him. The way City play, the way they attract opponents, and the spaces that can be used, he was really convinced as well. It was obviously hard to leave two strikers on the bench, but it was a tactical decision. So tactical decision actually did not, work against Manchester City, but that's okay. And talking about how bad Holding's injury is, Arteta said, we don't know. It was bad enough for us to make the decision to get him out of the game. Well, let's see how things will turn out because Saint Etienne manager Claude Puel has said that William Saliba had a great desire to return to the club on loan. Well, we can only cry now. Well, Pep Guardiola has opened up about Arteta. He says he has everything to be a contender to win the Premier League. That hasn't happened in a long time at Arsenal. And talking about it, well, Thomas Partey is on his Premier League debut with less than 8 minutes left to an impact, and he was actually yellow carded. Of course, if you give 8 minutes for a guy like Thomas Partey to make an impact, won't make sense at all. I'm pretty much sure that we're going to see him in the midweek, the Europa League game. I think we're going to see him there against Rapid Vienna. It makes sense if you start him and give William Saliba is not named, so he can't play in the Europa League, but that's okay. Mesut Ozil is yesterday's news, according to Sol Campbell. He believes that Mesut Ozil is yesterday's news, and he will never play for Arsenal again, according to Sol Campbell. Well, Campbell actually spoke to Genting Bet that he says Mesut Ozil is yesterday's news at the club. There is no chance that he will feature for Arsenal again this season or ever again. There have been certain things that have gone on, instances where he has gone against the club. So I don't see where there is any room for him to come back. So it looks like game over for Mesut Ozil. But moving on, if you see this image for Arsenal under-20s game against Manchester United in the Premier League 2, you can see Cedric played the game, Saliba played the game, of course. Emile Smith-Rowe alongside Reece Nelson and Willock played the game there. So yes, that is that. Well, Arsenal midfielder has revealed Chelsea legend Mike Essien is not only his idol, but the best player of all time. So that is what, according to Thomas Partey in a Q&A session, he mentioned. He said, Michael Essien, because he is one of the best players Ghana has ever had. He was then asked to name the greatest footballer ever, with Partey saying, I would say Michael Essien because he is my hero. He is my idol. So Mike Essien is Thomas Partey's idol. We're talking about more stuff. Well, a game in the Barclays FEWSL since joining the Gunners for Vivian Miedema. You can see she has 49 goals with 86.3 minutes per goal. She's the only one who has that, and that is a crazy, supremely crazy stat. Another stat coming your way. You can see Arsenal were actually praised by the pundits for their disciplined approach despite losing 1-0 to Manchester City. Here are the average positions from the encounter. You can see Arsenal's players. Look at Aubameyang, that was his average position, and look what Pepe had in store. Bukayo Saka. They were pegged back a lot of times by that Manchester City team, of course. So you can see the average positions of the players, and that is how. But defensively, Arsenal were really sound against Manchester City. But that is not a cause of concern. The big problem is, whom do Arsenal actually have in the defense if Rob Holding is injured? That's a big question because, now you either think to yourself, I got William Saliba on the bench, Shkodran Al-Mustafi on the bench, Socrates, but probably he's excluded from the Premier League team as well, so he's not going to play again, of course. Who else do we got? Callum Chambers, or we could actually think of under 23 defenders, which is a bad option by now. Mavropanos on loan, you can call him back, but I don't think so that's happening. Or you can go in January or in the summer and go and buy a central defender. Or you can use William Saliba, makes a lot of sense. Otherwise, you would rather have to play a 3-4-3 with Kieran Tierney as a centre back and hope that everything works fine. So that means that Arsenal will play a 3-4-3 nonetheless, because of course you don't have a stable right-footed centre back. Or you expect Pablo Mari to come in, but Pablo Mari is a left-footed centre-back. If Pablo Mari plays, I'm not sure if Gabriel can play. I don't think so. So Pablo Mari is also now option there. Comment and let me know what you guys think should be the ideal situation. We're going to discuss about it. Of course, Arsenal need a defender if Rob Holding is injured, of course. how difficult or how exactly impactful is the injury, we'll come to know in some days' time. So these were the news of the day. I hope you enjoyed whatever came of all the views and news and everything about Arsenal. Or should Arsenal actually go for Pau Torres? Well, let's say it's up to you guys to decide that, or Arsenal to actually make an action on that. So these were the news of the day. I hope you enjoyed whatever came your way, all the views and news and everything about Arsenal comes platform every single day twice. So what you're going to do is subscribe and hit that bell icon. I will see you in my next video. Until then, cheers, and don't forget to be a part of this exciting channel.